was supposed to be a quiet Friday night in Austin, Texas. 4 teenage girls closing up a small yogurt shop, laughing, sweeping floors, talking about the weekend. But what happened next would become one of the most horrifying crimes in Texas history. A fire, a secret, and a city haunted for over 30 years. This is the story of the yogurt shop murders, a case so twisted even decades later, the truth is still fighting to be heard. The December air was still and quiet, the kind of calm that hides what's coming. Inside a small, I can't believe it's yogurt shop in Austin, 4 girls, Jennifer Harbison, 17, Eliza Thomas, 17, Sarah Harbison, 15, and Amy Ayers, just 13, were closing for the night. At around 11:03 p.m., a police officer driving nearby noticed smoke rising from the shopping center. Fire crews rushed in, but what they found inside would shake the city forever. The shop was engulfed in flames, and beneath the ashes lay the burned bodies of the 4 girls. They had been bound, gagged, and shot in the head before the fire was set to cover it up. The crime scene was chaos, melted plastic, charred debris, fragments of clues everywhere. But one thing was clear: whoever did this knew exactly what they were doing. Investigators searched desperately for answers. Hundreds of interviews, dozens of polygraphs, even false confessions, but the truth stayed buried. Years passed. Then, in 1999, 4 men were arrested: Robert Springsteen, Michael Scott, Maurice Pierce, Forrest Wellborn. Teenagers at the time of the murders, 2 of them confessed, but later said those confessions were forced. After years of trials, appeals, and doubt, both convictions were overturned in 2009 when DNA testing showed no match to any of the 4 men. The case went cold again, but science doesn't sleep. In 2023, investigators turned to forensic genealogy, the same technology that caught the Golden State Killer. They retested the evidence and discovered a new, unknown male DNA profile on one of the victims. That single discovery reopened the door to justice. Now, detectives believe the real killer, or killers, may still be alive, their identities hidden for over 3 decades. The families of Jennifer, Eliza, Sarah, and Amy have waited more than 30 years for answers, and they still believe the truth is out there, somewhere in the DNA, waiting to speak again. 4 innocent girls, 1 horrific night, and a mystery that refuses to die.
Now for this next story, a case that haunted a family for over 6 decades, finally solved thanks to modern science. The cold case of Catherine Blackburn. It was 1964 in Albany, New York. Catherine Blackburn, a 50-year-old forewoman and beloved aunt, was found murdered in her own apartment. The crime shocked the community, but despite decades of investigation, no arrests were ever made. For 61 years, the case remained cold, a painful mystery that refused to fade. Families moved on, detectives retired, but the question lingered: who had taken Catherine's life? Then, in 2025, forensic science finally caught up. Advances in DNA technology led investigators to a new suspect, Joseph Nowakowski, a career criminal who had died in 1998. His remains were exhumed, and a DNA match confirmed his involvement, bringing long overdue closure to Catherine's family. Justice, delayed for more than 6 decades, had finally been served. And for Catherine Blackburn, her story was no longer a mystery. Now for this next story, we travel to San Jose, California in 1978, where 26-year-old schoolteacher Diane Peterson was found murdered at Branham High School. For decades, her case remained a chilling mystery. Diane was loved by her students and colleagues, known for her dedication and kind spirit. That night, something went terribly wrong. Diane never made it home. The school staff discovered her body, and investigators were left with few clues. Leads ran cold, witnesses couldn't provide answers, and the case lingered unsolved for over 40 years. Then, in 2025, modern DNA technology finally cracked the case. Investigators identified Harry Nile Nickerson, a man who had long been a suspect but was never convicted, as the person responsible for Diane's death. Though Nickerson had died decades earlier, this breakthrough finally brought closure to Diane's family and the community. A young teacher, a cold case, and decades of unanswered questions, until science finally revealed the truth just like the others.